very strong institutions, and they are very positive factors in our assessment of the UK.
Alistair Wilson from Moody's. Hundreds of thousands of people have signed a petition calling for Transport for London to reverse its decision not to renew Uber's licence. The regulator said the minicab firm was not fit and proper to hold a London private hire operator licence on the grounds of public safety and security implications. Uber responded by saying that the decision will put more than 40,000 licensed drivers out of work and deprive Londoners of a convenient and affordable form of transport. Well, a little earlier I spoke to the Labour MP Wes Streeting, who's chair of the all-party parliamentary group on taxis, and asked him what he made of that petition.
Well, I can understand if you're an Uber customer, you'll be disappointed by the turn of events, but my advice to those people who've signed the petition already and those who might think about signing is you're petitioning the wrong people. It's not Transport for London's fault that Uber stands to have its licence revoked. The blame for this debacle lies firmly and squarely with Uber. They've flouted the rules of the road that every licensed operator in London has to abide by. And we're not talking, by the way, about trivial regulations. Uber has received damning criticism from the Metropolitan Police, for example, for failing to appropriately handle and report serious allegations of rape and sexual assault in Uber vehicles. I don't think that that's a way that a fit and proper operator would behave or should behave. So if Uber want their licence back and want to take part in London's taxi and private hire market and be part of the competition, they have to play by the same rules as everybody else.
And you'd like that option to be open to them, would you?
Pardon?
You'd like that option to be open to them, that if they reform their ways, you'd like them back on the streets?
Well, of course, because the whole point about having a well-regulated taxi and private hire industry in London is that we maintain standards that ensure fair competition, but also, most importantly, puts passenger safety as paramount. And Uber flouted that. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are wider issues about Uber's business model beyond the scope of the inquiry led by TfL. And one of the reasons why people can enjoy rock bottom fares with Uber is they are artificially low, and they are artificially low because they don't pay their drivers properly. They're leading a race to the bottom in terms of pay terms and conditions. They don't pay their fair share of tax in the UK, and they're saturating the market with huge numbers of vehicles to drive out the competition. And they're able to do that because of the huge amounts of venture capital behind it. Now, that's a much wider debate about the future of the economy and the so-called gig economy and the way in which we enforce better standards across the whole gig economy. But in terms of the scope of TfL's decision, I think they've got Uber bang to rights.
Is it not
plenty of notice about this.
Is it not, though, true to say that there was a substantial gap in the market before they came along? Because in the minds of quite a few people, black cabs are too expensive.
Well, with a licensed black taxi, it is a premium product. You are paying for a driver who has undertaken the most extensive training, the knowledge of any taxi driver in the world. They can get you from A to B. They know all the back routes and the short ways and the shortcuts. You do pay a bit more for that. Now, there's no doubt at all that the black taxi trade. There's no doubt at all the black taxi trade has to become more competitive. In fact, they already are, which is why you've got innovations like a whole range of apps now for black taxis. You can pay by credit or debit card in the vehicle, and I'm sure there'll be further innovations to come because they've got to be competitive, and I think the industry is up for that.
Right.
But we've got to have a fairly regulated industry where people abide by the rules of the road, and Uber's being found wanting in that respect.
One final one, if I may. Various responses. I mentioned 40,000 petition signers. What do you say to this kind of view that says, and this is a woman who says she's annoyed at the decision as Uber allows her to get out of what she calls uncomfy situations if she's out at night? People like that are going to be left in limbo here, aren't they?
Well, the good news is the taxi and private hire industry in London has moved on significantly. So there are a whole range of not just black taxi, but minicab apps now that have those same features of getting you from one destination to another, where you know the driver's name, you've got the number plate. But what I would say to your viewers who are concerned about safety is they should be even more concerned about the fact that there have been instances of alleged rapes and sexual assaults in Uber vehicles which Uber have not properly reported to the Metropolitan Police. Safety has got to be paramount. The regulator's doing its job. If Uber customers or indeed Uber drivers are upset or angry about this situation, don't blame the regulator for enforcing the rules. Let's blame the company that flouts them and tell them to buck their ideas up so that they can take part in the taxi and private hire industry with the same rules as everyone else.
And that was the Labour MP, Wes Streeting. Now, many